We've all heard the saying, as American as apple pie. Sure, it's a classic dessert with all those cinnamon flavors and the nice, warm taste when it comes out of the oven and the pie crust. But what if we don't like apple pie? What? Not liking apple pie? I can hear you all saying that. You probably think I'm crazy. But there is a dessert for people who like apple flavored desserts but don't like pie. What is this dessert, you might be asking? Well, it's called apple crisp. Essentially, it's apple pie, but without the pie. So people like myself don't really like pie crust, the flavor, or maybe the texture. So this is a good way to get that nice apple cinnamon flavor, taking away the pie crust and adding an amazing streusel topping. This specific recipe is my grandma's recipe, and it's been passed down in my family for generations. And I'm going to share it all with you today. This is a recipe I remember making with her around the holidays since I was really young. And it's one of my absolute favorite things to do with her around the holidays. My mom as well. We all make it together. It's one of the few desserts that pretty much my whole family agrees on. So it's pretty much a given at any holiday dinner like Thanksgiving or Christmas. So today I'm going to share my recipe for apple crisp with you. This is the exact recipe. This is from an old copy of Bon Appetit magazine, and this is my mom's copy of the magazine. And as you can see, it's been very well loved with plenty of stains on the papers. So to get started, we're going to preheat the oven, and then you're going to get out your baking dish of choice. Make sure you butter your baking dish really well, because the last thing you want is to make this amazing dessert and not be able to get it out of the pan. I don't think I can think of many things worse when it comes to desserts. So make sure you butter it really well. And then we're going to talk about the kind of apples to use when you're baking. Usually, you want to use Granny Smith apples, which are the green tart ones you find in the grocery store. They tend to keep their texture better than a lot of other apples, and they won't turn to mush in the oven. They also keep that really good apple flavor. So you're going to peel your apples, and then you're going to quarter, core, and slice them into about half-inch thick slices. You can either do this by hand or by using a mandolin slicer. That makes it even easier. Then you're going to put those in a bowl and set them aside for later while we make the topping. To make the topping, you're going to put brown sugar, granulated sugar, and flour into a bowl, and you're going to mix them together. Now, using the granulated sugar and the brown sugar together really helps give the topping a better texture and a deeper flavor with the molasses that's in the brown sugar. And then you're going to add some cinnamon, some rolled oats, and if you want to, some chopped pecans. If you're not allergic to nuts, I highly suggest adding them. They add a really good flavor and a little bit of crunch that stays there after they bake. So you're going to mix all of those into the sugar and the flour, and then we're going to make it the crumb topping by adding our butter. So you're going to take your chilled butter and either slice or cube it, and you're going to add it into the mixture, and you're going to cut it in with either a fork or your fingers until it looks like coarse crumbs. Now, I suggest using your fingers because it's more fun, but this is what it will look like when it's the right consistency. And then you're going to take half a cup of it and mix it with the apples in that large bowl. And then we're going to assemble in a minute. So adding the topping into the apples really helps get that cinnamon flavor all throughout the dish and makes it more of a cohesive dessert versus just some apples that get baked with a topping. So definitely don't forget to add some of the topping into the apples. So you're going to put all of that into the baking dish, just the apples with the little bit of topping, and then you're going to mix together some orange juice, some vanilla, and if you want to, some dark rum. My family doesn't normally do this step, but if you want to, I think it'd be really tasty. So go for it and tell me how it is. So then you're going to pour that mixture over the apples, and you're going to cover the whole thing with the crumb topping. Now, I suggest making twice the crumb topping, doubling that recipe, and that way you can add even more to the top. It makes it even more indulgent, and it gets even better that way. Now, you're going to bake it in the oven until it turns bubbly around the edges, and you can start to see a little bit of the juices pooling, like you can see in this picture below. This is the one I actually made last weekend, and it turned out amazing. You're also going to make sure that it's dark golden on top. Now, I suggest serving it with vanilla ice cream, definitely serving it warm, and pretty much by the time you're done eating your holiday meal, it'll be just the perfect temperature to serve. Get that vanilla ice cream nice and melted over the top. Like I said, it's one of my favorite recipes. If anyone wants to test it out and give me your feedback, be the judge, my grandma and I and my mom would love to hear what you think. Most importantly, I wanted to share this recipe with you around the holiday season because the holidays are really a time to share with our friends, family, loved ones, people who are important to us. And to me, a great way to do that is through food. Making somebody a great dish is one of the best things I think you can give a person. So I really hope you decide to make this and that you enjoy. And I've really liked being in class with all of you this block, and I hope you have a great holiday season.